Salam, Mr. Hi, welcome to Virtual Venture Vacation again. So today I'm going to share with you one very prominent Chinese temple in Melaka, which is a must for you to visit. Yeah. Now I'm going to share with you over here about the architectural wonders of this temple. And not only that, all right, I'm going to share with you lots about the Chinese traditional items over here, where normally you don't even know about it, right? So this temple is known as Cheng Teng, or basically it means Temple of Clear Clouds. Is actually located in Jalan Tokong. Jalan Tokong is also known as the Harmony Street. Later, I'm going to share with you what's the reason it's known as the Harmony Street as well, right? So this Chinese temple was actually built by Capitan Li Wei King in 1645 during the Dutch era. That's the reason why this Chinese temple is the oldest Chinese temple in Southeast Asia, right? So, due to its historical richness, right? So that's the reason why Cheng Teng is sanctioned by an act of parliament in 1949, guaranteeing the temple's future and its role as guardian of the community's spiritual and cultural heritage. That's the reason why over here I'm going to share with you about the cultural heritage as well. So, of course, for this act, the prime mover is actually our Tun Tan Cheng Law, right? So in the year 2002, Cheng Hun Teng actually has gone through a very thorough renovation, and they have won the UNESCO Asia Pacific Heritage Awards for the restoration purposes, right? So in terms of the significance of Cheng Hun Teng in Malaysia, first, historical is one of the oldest edifices of formal worship for Chinese immigrants in Malaysia. So, as I've told you, it is definitely the oldest temple, Chinese temple in Southeast Asia, right? And second, the architectural. Earliest Malaysia Hokkien temple architecture reflecting the skills of artisans from Fujian and Guangdong provinces of China. So if you look at those statues, minarets on top of the roof, you will see those are actually made from the China porcelain and very minute ones, very small ones, right? So this is actually one of the architectural wonders as well. And in terms of social, right, it is an important spiritual and social center for Chinese immigrants as well, right? Now, another very significant part about this Chinese temple that made it so special, where you can't find this type of Chinese temple elsewhere, is that it actually has three teachings, right? The first one is Buddhism. Buddhism believes in karma, meaning to say what you did good, you return with good. What you did evil, it will be returned in evil. Well, as for Confucianism, right, it is that the teachings teach us to respect the elderly, whereas the Taoism is actually teaches us to live in harmony. So in this temple itself, you find these three Chinese teachings there. All right. So basically, in the Chinese temple, you can see this whole layout of the Chinese temple, right? So over here, you can see that I state number one, number two, number three, and the whole layout, right? So I'm going to go further in to explain to you. The first part where which is actually very unique and really truly make me wonder is that organization chart itself exists in the Chinese teachings. You see, it's already, they're having the hierarchy there, right? Now, like for example, they have a god of prosperity, they have god of birth, they have god of beauty, they have business god, they have architectural god, they have various types of god with the various functions and the departments itself. So I'm just wondering, is it that through history, this kind of organization chart, all the departments are really from the Chinese? Well, I will check this later on. Okay. Okay. Now, if you look at the layout, the first thing that you'll see about the Buddhism is actually the Kuan Yin, that is the goddess of mercy. And then the second one that is on the right hand side, all right, that is the deity of Kwanti, or god of war, and his warriors, and the deity of Tai Sui Ye, or mainly god of human affair, right? And then the third one is actually goddess of the sea, that is the Ma Zhu, guardian of the seamen, right? And then after at the main hall, main hall, you go to the right hand side. Okay, there's a small entrance. Then you see the saint of Bunchong there, the Shelan, or the known as Kwanti, then god of wealth. Then, as you further go straight in, you will see on top, is the goddess of birth, and below is the white god tiger. Okay, and you further in up turn left, you'll see a garden, and in this garden itself, you will see in the center is actually the goddess of mercy, together with the 8 immortals, right? And then as you go further in, all these are the altar for ancestorship. And then opposite of this temple, you will see that actually there is a opera stage over here, right? So within that building itself, as I've mentioned, it has 3 teachings. In the center is actually the Buddhism, left and right is the Taoism, all right? And then right behind is actually the Confucianism. That's why it has the 3 teachings over here, right? So over here, I'm going to share with you the architecture wonders besides what I've told you about the porcelains, the statues, right? Now, there are actually some very, very prominent ones over here, right? Now, over here, if you see the first one, the dragon at the door, all right? The dragon acts as the guardian of the door, right? Now, the special part is that usually most of the dragon heads are actually on the top, but at this door itself, the dragon head is at the bottom. And second part, which is very special, is that this dragon heads actually, there are 8 immortals at the tails of these 2 dragons. And then another very unique part again is that usually, all right, one dragon will play with one fireball. But then the wonders over here is that 2 dragons are actually playing with 3 fireballs, right? So when you are in this Cheng Teng temple, take note on this architectural uniqueness. Right? Second, which is very unique as well, okay? If you look at these red-colored lions, right? Usually these lions act as the guardian of the temple. That's why they are usually located on the right and the left, right? Now, of course, the right one usually is the male, where you will find they are holding onto a ball, or they are holding onto a gold coin or ingot, which represents that they are male, right? And as for the female, usually you'll find a baby cup. Female giving birth. That's reason why, is having a cup with her, right? Now, what is so special about this um, lion statue over there, right? Now, most of the time, if you see that these lions are actually with the four legs on the ground, but then, yeah, in this Cheng Teng temple, if you really look at it, the four legs is actually up, just like a dog, standing up with the two legs like that, right? So is it a lion or a dog? Nobody knows, but of course, it is still lion. But this is the uniqueness part of it, right? Now, if you really look at the handicrafts, the woodwork in this temple, it is very, very intricately done. Fantastic handiwork. Fantastic, really. I'm really very struck with this awesome handicraft, right? This is the second thing that you must really observe well. Third one is actually, this is something where lots of people don't really realize. Look at the top, right? At the beam, you'll see the Dutchman holding onto the beam. Why is it like that? Because, right? When this temple was built, it was built during the Dutch era, and most of the local people hate the Dutch because the Dutch no longer made Melaka into a port and they collect taxes. So they hated the Dutchmen a lot. So they wanted to teach the Dutchmen the lesson. So that's why they made the statue on top carrying the beam, right? Very, very unique over here, right? So another part about this temple is actually on the preservation of culture, right? So if you look at this temple itself, right, the prayer procedure is very unique. Now, the Chinese actually prays according to the organization chart or the hierarchy, meaning to say the most powerful, the higher one first. So definitely the heaven god emperor, right? That's the first one that we must pray first. That's why always pray outside of the temple first. Then, all right, as you go in, you'll find there's this wooden lip or wooden block blocking at the entrance. Reason why most of the old temples having such a blockade is because when your leg cross over, it's kind of like you're bowing. And when you're bowing, you are respecting to the Chinese gods. That's the reason why they have this block over here, right? So another very, very unique part about the preservation of culture is the Chinese offerings over here, right? So the Chinese offerings is actually, okay, if you see there are these fruits being offered to the god, right? Now, observe these Chinese offerings fruits very well, right? Now, there are two things that you find it really very, very unique and special. First thing is that you will never find local fruits being offered. Local fruits being offered, items like durian, rambutan, mangoes. No, you won't see that, right? Now, second thing very unique about it is that, of course, these fruits are definitely found in China. Well, I will say that, of course, these kind of traditions are from China. That's reason why we are praying these offerings are the fruits from China as well. Now, all these fruits bear some significance. They have very symbolic meaning, actually, right? The first fruit usually being offered is the apple. Apple in Chinese, we call it as 苹果. Ping means peace. So the Chinese offer the apple. It is a symbolic meaning of requesting for peace and harmony, right? The second one is orange. In Chinese, it's known as 橘. The symbolic meaning is actually good fortune. The third is the pear, in Chinese known as li, where the Chinese always say 顺顺利利, meaning to say doing any work without any obstacle, meaning smooth sailing, right? And then we have banana. Now, if you look at banana, one very unique part, even how we lay the banana, right? It is very special. It has to be laid like our palm, where it's facing the entrance that is gating the good fortune into the house or the temple, right? So why banana is because in Chinese, yeah, we call it 招财进宝, meaning to say we attract the good fortune, right? And then we have pomelo. Pomelo is huge and unique. Yeah, it's the biggest citrus fruit in the world. So, meaning to say, praying with pomelo, we are hoping for having children and family unity because it's big. And then another very big fruit is the watermelon. Watermelon, right? We pray for family unity and happiness. And then the most popular among the Chinese, where it's kind of like a must when we pray, is that we will pray with pineapple. Now, why pineapple? Because pineapple in Chinese, we call it Huang Lai. Huang Lai means good fortune comes, good luck comes. That's the reason why we use pineapple, right? And then one very special ones where basically you can hardly find this type of offering in any type of Chinese temple unless that these Chinese temple are really those very old ones, right? Where you find in this Chinese temple where they are praying to God of education over here, right? God of education. And then you can see spring onion and salad over here, right? The lettuce. Now, why? Why is like that? It's because in Chinese, when we pray with the salad, 生菜, 生 means growing up, right? And then 葱, 葱 means what? Smart. So they're actually hoping that by praying these two items, the kid will grow healthily and being very, very smart, right? So, as mentioned earlier on, this temple is actually located in Jalan Tokong, right? It's also known as Harmony Street. Now, why is like that? Just a stone throw away, you find this Masjid Kampung Kling, right? This Masjid Kampung Kling has a very, very unique Chinese influence architectural, right? Now, if you really look at the roof in the middle, there's even this Shuangxi, double happiness, crafted in the middle. This is one proof that even the mosque is actually very, very Chinese influence. And again, one true stone away, you find this Sri Puyata Vinayaka Murti temple. Is an Indian temple, right? In fact, this Indian temple is actually prayed by most of the local Indians, whereby nearby is the Chettiar community. Now, Chettiar and Chitti, there are two differences, right? Chettiar is actually those money lenders. The Chitti is just like the Baba and Nyonya Indian community in Melaka. So that's the reason why this whole street consists of three main religions of the Malaysian: Chinese temple, Malay mosque, and the Indian temple. So that made it very, very unique, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, as usual, of course, you have any inquiries, you are most welcome to write to me or contact me via WhatsApp. Yeah. And of course, as a motivation is very, very important for me. I hope that you will subscribe and like my channel, right? Of course, with having this sharing, yeah, I hope that you will share with your friends as well, right? So over here, I wish you all the best, best of luck, best of health, and everything that you do. Okay, terima kasih.